Have you ever walked through a neighborhood and seen one of those houses that was never finished? The frame is up, the roof is on, but there are no windows, just dark empty holes, and the siding is only on one side. It just sits there, year after year, weathering. You look at it, and you wonder what happened. Life, probably. Money ran out. A dream collapsed. But the truth is, most of us are living in a house like that. Not a physical one, but a psychological one. A half-built life. The blueprint was drawn with so much hope. The foundation was poured with excitement. And then, we just stopped. We walked away. And we lived the rest of our days in the skeleton of what could have been. The constant quiet draft of unfinished business blowing through the empty rooms of our potential. The world's most expensive real estate isn't in Monaco or Manhattan. It's the graveyard of unfinished projects inside your mind. That's the real estate we're going to reclaim today. I used to be an architect of the grand gesture. I would start a novel on January 1st, fueled by the fireworks of New Year's resolutions. I'd buy the expensive running shoes, the ones with the carbon fiber plate, convinced that this time, the technology alone would carry me across the finish line of a marathon I hadn't even properly trained for. I'd enroll in online courses, my digital shopping cart overflowing with the promise of a new me. My hard drive was a museum of first chapters. My closet, a cemetery of abandoned hobbies. I was a master of the explosive start. The gun would go off, and I would sprint out of the blocks like my life depended on it. Arms and legs pumping, a blur of initial effort. And then, 50 yards in, my lungs would be on fire. My legs would turn to lead, and I'd just stop, walk off the track, find a bench, and then I'd see someone else. Someone who started at a slow, steady, almost laughable jog, and I'd watch them with a sort of bitter fascination as they just kept going, lap after lap. While I was gasping on the sidelines, they were building a rhythm, a resilience I couldn't comprehend. I thought they were less talented, less passionate. I was wrong. They were just wiser. They understood a secret I was too proud to learn. The secret isn't intensity. It's consistency. Tiny progress, repeated, becomes unstoppable. You don't build a wall by throwing a giant pile of bricks at it. You build it by laying one brick perfectly, every single day. And that wall, over time, becomes a fortress. This is the first anchor. Start small, finish big. We are seduced by the spectacle of the grand opening. We want the montage, the music swelling, the transformation to be quick and dramatic. But life isn't a montage. It's the long, unedited cut. The secret to writing a book isn't writing 10,000 words in a single caffeine-fueled night. It's writing 200 words every single day, even when you feel like every one of them is wrong. It's the accumulation. A single drop of water is insignificant, but enough drops consistently falling in the same place can carve canyons into solid rock. That's the power you're not tapping into. You look at the canyon and you think, I could never do that. But you are not being asked to create the canyon in a day. You're just being asked to be one drop, today, and then again, tomorrow. The grand finale is just a collection of very, very small beginnings, stacked on top of one another until they reach the sky. And this is where we have to talk about the great lie we've been sold. The lie of motivation. We wait for it like it's a weather front. We say, I don't feel motivated to work out today. Or, I'm just not motivated to work on my business plan. As if motivation is the fuel, and without it, the engine simply won't turn over. Let me tell you the truth I learned the hard way, sitting in that half-built house of my own making. Motivation starts things. Discipline finishes them. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the log you keep throwing on the fire, long after the initial spark has faded, to keep the whole thing from turning to ash. Motivation is a fickle, fleeting guest. It shows up unannounced, fills your house with light and music, and then leaves just as suddenly, leaving you alone in the silence and the mess. Discipline is the quiet, steadfast owner of the house. It's the one who pays the mortgage, who fixes the leaky faucet, who takes out the trash in the rain. Finishing what you start has very little to do with how you feel. It has everything to do with what you do when you don't feel like doing anything at all. It's about showing up on the days your heart is a hollow, empty room. It's about putting on your shoes and walking out the door when every cell in your body is screaming to stay on the couch. That is the crucible where finishes are forged. Not in the blaze of inspiration, but in the cold, hard steel of routine. To do that, you have to create the space for that discipline to live. You have to cut the noise. We live in a world that screams at us to do more, be more, have more. We have 10 different goals, 5 different side hustles, a million different distractions chirping for our attention like crickets in the night. Why? You can't finish anything if you're chasing everything. A hunter who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. Your focus is not a floodlight illuminating a whole field. It is a laser. It must be pointed at a single precise point. You need fewer goals, not more. One clear, defined, non-negotiable target. 1 rabbit. Everything else is just noise, static that drains your energy and scatters your attention. Look at your life right now. How many half-built projects are you juggling? How many dreams have you left in the lobby, waiting for your attention? Pick one, just one, and for a season, let the others go. Tell them, not now. 1 finished project is worth more than 100 brilliant beginnings. 1 clear target always beats 10 scattered dreams. But how do you maintain that focus? How do you keep showing up for that one thing, day after boring day? This is the deepest part of the secret. You have to stop attaching yourself to the action and start attaching yourself to the identity. There's a profound difference, a chasm, between these 2 statements. I am trying to write, and I am a writer. The first one is temporary. It's an experiment. It has an escape hatch. If it gets hard, you can stop trying. The second one is fundamental. It's who you are. A writer writes. It's not something they do when they feel like it. It's what they are. When you are a writer, you write on the good days and the bad days. When you are an athlete, you train when you're tired and when you're energized. Identity creates consistency where willpower always fails. Willpower is a battery. It drains. Identity is a solar panel. It draws energy from simply being what it is. Don't just try to get fit. Become someone who values their physical health. Don't just try to build a business. Become an entrepreneur. Don't just try to learn the guitar. Become a musician. Wrap the action so tightly into your sense of self that to not do it feels like a violation of your own nature. It becomes harder to not do the thing than it is to do it. And once you've built that identity, you have to make peace with the most unglamorous truth of all. You have to make it boring. We have been conditioned to believe that the path to mastery is paved with excitement, with breakthroughs, with viral moments. It is not. The path to mastery is paved with repetition. It is monotonous. It is grindingly, soul-crushingly dull at times. Anything you want to master, anything you truly want to finish, you must first be willing to be bored doing it. The pianist plays the same scale 10,000 times. The coder debugs the same line of code for hours. The writer stares at the same paragraph, rearranging the same words, until their eyes cross. The excitement, the flow, the magic, those are the occasional jewels you find while you're doing the hard, boring work of digging. They are not the shovel. You have to fall in love with the shovel. You have to find a strange, deep satisfaction in the dull, metallic bill of the blade hitting the earth, over and over and over again. The boredom is not the enemy. The boredom is the gatekeeper. If you can't sit with the boredom, you will never meet mastery. This is the system. This is the unsexy, uncelebrated engine of accomplishment. We are obsessed with the highlight reel. The championship win, the book launch, the product going viral. The highlight is sexy. It's what gets filmed. The system is not. The system is the daily grind. The system is the 5 a.m. alarm. The system is the meal prep on a Sunday night. The system is the spreadsheet, the practice schedule, the daily word count. The system is the thing you do when no one is watching, when there are no cameras, no applause, no external validation. But the system is the only thing that makes the highlight possible. The highlight is a momentary flash of light. The system is the power grid that generates it. If you build your life chasing highlights, you will burn out in a spectacular blaze of exhausted disappointment. But if you build a system, a reliable, repeatable, boring system, the highlights become inevitable byproducts. They become the fruit on a tree you have patiently, quietly been watering and nourishing for years. And to protect that system, you have to do something drastic. You have to remove the exit door. People quit because quitting is an option. It's always there, in the back of your mind. A little emergency hatch. When the work gets too hard, when the boredom becomes too much, when the doubt creeps in, you can always just open the hatch and climb out. You can quit the diet. You can abandon the project. You can drop out of the course. As long as that door exists, you will be tempted to use it. The secret is to weld it shut, to burn the boats on the shore so that finishing becomes the only path forward. Make a public commitment. Invest so much money that the thought of quitting makes you physically ill. Create a consequence for failure so severe that it's not an option. When retreat is impossible, the only direction left is forward. You fight with a different kind of ferocity when you know there is no way out but through. Of course, the path forward can seem impossibly long. The finish line can feel like a mirage, shimmering in the distance, always receding. This is why you must break the goal into checkpoints. A huge monolithic goal is terrifying. It's like looking up at a sheer cliff face and being told to climb it. Your brain freezes. It seems impossible. But if you break that cliff face into a series of small, manageable ledges, suddenly it becomes possible. You're not climbing a cliff anymore. You're just getting to the next ledge, 3 feet above you. And then the next. And then the next. Every time you cross a small checkpoint, you get a hit of dopamine, a small win. That win builds momentum. And momentum is the secret weapon. Momentum is contagious. Success breeds success. A single snowball at the top of a hill is harmless. But once it starts rolling and it gathers momentum, it becomes an avalanche. You are that snowball. Your small daily actions are the initial push. The momentum you build will eventually carry you the rest of the way, with a force that feels almost beyond your control. But on that path, you will stumble. You will fall. This is not a possibility. It is a guarantee. And our instinct, our shame, tells us that failure is the end of the road. It's the sign that we weren't good enough, that we should pack it in. This is another lie. Finishing isn't about avoiding failure. It's about learning to stand up faster each time you fall. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. It is data. It is feedback. It is the chisel that chips away your rough edges. Every master was once a disaster. The difference between the person who finishes and the person who doesn't is not that one never fell. It's that the one who finished got up one more time than they fell down. You only lose when you stop moving. As long as you are still in the fight, as long as you are still getting up, you are winning. The race is always won by the person who is the last one to quit. To keep yourself in the fight, you have to change what you celebrate. We are conditioned to reward the outcome. The trophy, the promotion, the number on the scale. But if you only reward yourself when you win, you are setting yourself up for misery. The outcome is often outside of your full control. You can do everything right and still lose. If your happiness is tied to that, you will be perpetually fragile. Instead, reward the process. Reward the discipline. Reward showing up. Reward the journey. Did you get up and run even though it was raining? That's a win. Celebrate it. Did you sit down and write for 30 minutes even though you felt completely uninspired? That's a victory. Acknowledge it. Did you choose the healthy meal even though you were stressed? That's discipline. Honor it. By rewarding the process, you build a sustainable source of joy and motivation that is entirely within your control. You teach yourself to love the work itself, and the outcomes become the beautiful, inevitable consequences. And through all of this, you have to hold two things in your mind at once. A difficult but necessary balancing act. You have to visualize the end and then focus on today. See the finish line once. Close your eyes and feel what it will feel like to type the end on that manuscript. Feel the weight of the metal around your neck. Feel the pride of the launch. Let that fire burn in your gut for a moment. Feel it. And then, and this is the crucial part, bring your eyes back to the next step. The finish line is a destination. It's out there in the future. You can't run there in a single bound. You can only get there by taking the step that is directly in front of you, right now. Dream big, but execute small. Keep the vision in your heart, but keep your hands on the plow. Look up to check your direction, but then look down and focus on the furrow you are carving out today. All of this, every single anchor, every piece of the system, boils down to one final fundamental agreement. The most important agreement you will ever make. You have to make it a promise to yourself. Not to your boss, not to your family, not to your followers. To you. The strongest and yet the most frequently broken contracts are the internal ones. We lie to ourselves all the time. I'll start tomorrow. It's not that important. I'm just too busy right now. Every time we do that, we erode our own self-trust. We become someone we cannot rely on. Finishing what you start is, at its core, simply this: not lying to yourself anymore. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. It is looking in the mirror and saying, my word is my bond, especially to you. When you make a promise to yourself and you keep it, no matter how small, you are building a foundation of self-worth that is unshakable. You are telling yourself that you are worth the effort, you are worth the discipline, you are worth the finish. So let's go back to that half-built house, the one you've been living in. It's time to stop seeing it as a monument to your failure. See it for what it is, a project in progress. The weather has worn it, yes. The windows are empty, but the foundation is still there. The frame is still strong. You drew the blueprint for a reason. There was a dream in your heart that was so real you started building it. That dream hasn't died. It's just been waiting for you to pick up the tools again. Not to build the whole thing in a day. Not to sprint until you collapse, but to pick up one tool. To lay one brick. Today, just one. And then tomorrow, another. The secret to finishing what you start isn't a secret of talent or luck. It's a secret of returning. Of showing up day after day, in the quiet, patient faith that these small, consistent actions are building something that will, one day, be a home for your soul. It's time to come home.